Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Layalia Mahmuda, and today I'm going to talk about Riba in Islamic perspective for my oral test video. So the first question is, what is the definition of Riba? Riba is an activity that occurs in the world of transactions. Riba itself comes from the Arabic language, which means usury or interest. Riba is a system where interest is deferred, and this is often applied to borrowing money. In other words, riba is a condition where someone takes advantage by determining an unreasonable amount of interest on a sum of money. This condition will harm the borrower because his wealth is getting depleted, but the debt burden he has to pay is increasing. The second question, what are the types of riba based on the text? Explain each of them completely and clearly. The types of usury are divided into two categories, each of which has two other types, namely riba al-buyu and riba ad-duyun. So I will explain riba al-buyu first. Riba al-buyu itself is a category of usury where one thing is exchanged for another, but the amount is not the same, or at least the delivery of one of the things is delayed. Here are two types of riba al-buyu. First, riba al-fadl, which is the exchange of ribawi with different weight, size, or quantity but at the same time, or more clearly, it is the condition where the purchase and sale of ribawi with different amounts can be seen in terms of quantity, weight, value, etc., but the price set is the same. For example, if you have 3 grams of 24 karat gold, exchange it for 5 grams of 30 karat gold, then the excess of 2 grams is riba fadl. The second one, riba an-nasiyah, which is the process of exchanging ribawi goods, but there is a delay in it, which later the payment will be exceeded by the party who gives or sells. For example, Habib buys some gold for 500,000 rupiah, but the seller asks Habib to make payments in the following year at a price of 540,000 rupiah. The nominal amount of 40,000 rupiah is riba an-nasiyah. Okay, move to another category. It's riba ad-duyun. Riba ad-duyun is a type of usury that relates to interest on debt. This arises when money lending and borrowing activities occur. The two types of this usury are, first, riba al-qard, which is the condition where the lender has imposed usury from the beginning of the agreement and depends on the length of time it takes to the borrower to return it. So for example, Ochi borrows 50,000 rupiah from Tisa at 10% interest for 1 year. Then at maturity, Ochi will pay 55,000 rupiah to Tisa. The interest of 10% and the nominal increase of 5,000 rupiah is called riba al-qard. Second one, riba al-jahiliyah, which is a condition where there is a delay in payment, but the lender does not set usury from the beginning of the agreement. This applies when the borrower asks for time so that the debt repayment limit is postponed. In return, the lender will propose an overpayment to the borrower. For example, Aldin borrows 100,000 rupiah from Rita on 25th January 2024, and the due date is 25th February 2024. However, it turned out that Aldin couldn't keep the agreement. Rita agreed to postpone the payment of Aldin's debt on the condition that Aldin must pay 150,000 rupiah on the next due date. The additional amount of 50,000 rupiah is called riba al-jahiliyah. The third question, why is riba forbidden in Islam? Riba is an activity that would involve someone gaining profit from borrowing something. Muslims are strictly forbidden to profit from such a thing. Moreover, usury will exploit the poor and enrich the rich with undeserved wealth. Some of the consequences of usury are 1. Riba is the foundation of justice. 2. Riba damages society. 3. Riba creates negative economic growth. The prohibition of usury is also reinforced from the Quran. There are several verses and a number of hadiths that strongly convey the strict prohibition of it. In the Quran, Allah says, "Those who eat riba, usury, will not stand on the day of resurrection, except like the standing of a person bitten by shaitan, leading him to insanity." Okay, the last question. Is credit sale permissible in Islam? Elaborate the reasons. This credit card has several reasons to be prohibited. Among them are: first, requirements smell of usury. Transactions to issue these cards generally contain several usurious commitments which essentially require the card holder to pay usurious interest or financial fines if they are late in covering their debt. Second, the percentage that the party issuing the card deducts from the fee to the merchant. It is understood that the party who issued the card did not pay the payment amount specified in the payment account. However, the party issuing the card will deduct the percentage mutually agreed upon in the firm transaction between the party and the merchant. Some jurists view it as an administrative fee, wages from collecting payments from customers. Meanwhile, taking wages from the business of collecting debts or delivering goods owed is fine. Okay, last but not least, the reason is late fines and usury interest. The party that issues this card imposes several forms of financial fines due to delays in debt closure, due to delays in payment of funds withdrawn via the card. Such fines constitute declared usury, which is beyond debate. So the conclusion is, it is clear that credit cards are prohibited in Islam because they rely on riba with interest after the grace period for payment has passed without repayment on the amount that must be repaid. There is also a requirement to bear interest after the end of the repayment period, which is a ribawi condition that should not be required. If this credit card is kept away from usurious interest and its conditions and is sufficient to take the administration money taken when the card is issued and take advantage of using the card from merchants who provide a mutually agreed percentage discount, then this is permissible. So that was all for my oral task talking about riba in Islamic perspective. I'm sorry if I made any mistakes and thank you for watching until the end of this video. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.